official. I want people to shoot for 7:30. So we can get in, get up here, get set up. Dan is working with cameras and such and so forth. And if we all get here, we can all put it together. And then afterwards, just while we're talking about that, we all again want to help and put things away. I know we all want to get home and like that, so that's why if we all do it together, it happens. Some people may need to talk to guests or visitors, but let's help so the D is not just standing here as our sergeant at arms trying to do all of this. Okay, great. We're reading Toastmasters. It's been another week. Weather is getting better. Looks like we are, since we're running a little late, I'm just going to go ahead and hand off to our Toastmaster. Let's see if there's anything. We're meeting here next week. We're supposed to have a class, just a couple of points. We're supposed to have a class here, a business class. And I put that all in my email. Everyone got my email and knows what I'm talking about? Okay, great.
How are we going to fit them all in the room?
We got it. It's covered. Laps. That's what laps are built for. So, we can have people sit in laps. Works fine. Okay.
Is this the Tall Tales competition?
Yeah.
That's B or P?
Yeah, no, the Tall Tales expert is right here, so. Well, let's go ahead, we'll keep going with the news, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and let Jyoti Raj go ahead and take over our meeting as our Toastmaster.
Fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home. I'm your Toastmaster this evening. My role is to keep this meeting moving till the end. Basically, I'm the master of ceremony, you can say, and I am the Toastmaster today. Let me first introduce the theme of the day. It's social media, and there is a quote here. Social media is an advertisement for the superficial extroverted self. So, social media is an advertisement for the superficial extroverted self. That's a great comment.
That's a great one.
Yeah. So let me introduce the role player of the day. Who's the timer?
Peter's the timer, is that right?
Mrs. Veda's the
Yes,
timer.
it is.
Oh, okay.
And I don't have the sheet in front of me, so I'll make it up.
Let me introduce Peter as a timer.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is it time for me to talk?
Yes.
Will you please?
Thank you. Today I will be the timer, and we're having two types of speeches tonight. Three, actually. The first speech is a prepared speech. That speech, as far as I know, is 5 to 7 minutes in length. The green light will come on at 5, the yellow light at 6, and the red light at 7-minute mark. The next speech will be the evaluation of the prepared speech, and that will be 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes, green light, 2.5 minutes, yellow light, 3 minutes, red light. The final speech that is timed will be the general evaluator. Oh, no, the table topics evaluator.
All right.
The table topic speeches themselves last for 2 minutes, and the green light comes on after 1 minute, the yellow light after 2 minutes, and the red light after 1.5 minutes, the yellow light comes on. And after 2 minutes, the red light comes on. The speaker has 30 seconds to finish up after the red light turns on. And finally, there will be the speech by the general evaluator, the table topics evaluator comes next, That speech will probably be in the 2 to 3 minute range, possibly 3 to 4. That will be decided later. And finally, the general evaluator will be timed, but since it will come after the timer's report, it won't count. Thank you very much.
Dan Craig is grammarian today. Dan, will you please tell us about your role?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. My role as the grammarian is twofold. First, I have a word of the day, and I'd like you all to try to work that into your speeches tonight. The word is adroit. It's an adjective. It means having or showing skill, cleverness, or resourcefulness in handling situations. An example, the shady businessman was adroit in tax avoidance.
It's appropriate this time of year.
The other part of my job tonight is to listen to the language that's used, to take note of any particularly good language, things that catch the ear and please the heart. And I'll also look for perhaps incorrect use of language to give some feedback for that. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Dan. Our next role player is our counter. Is Terry Harnish, and she's our counter. Terry, will you please describe your role?
I have the easiest job because I know we're all perfect and nobody's going to boo-boo at all tonight. But I will be keeping track. Old Hawkeye Harnish here. So I'm taking notes for all of the ahs, ums, you knows, wells, clicks, whatever. So be on your best behavior.
Thank you. Our general evaluator will be Hudhaifa Satnawi. We'll hear from him later in the meeting. Our joke master is Aaron Russell. I'm the Toastmaster. Let's move to next section of the meeting. I want to welcome our general evaluator, Hudhaifa Satnawi.
We're doing the speech first.
I think evaluator, yeah.
Okay, so you're letting him do it, and then you're handing back to him to introduce the speech.
I didn't get the point.
We're going to be going over, and you just do it.
I'll introduce myself to introduce,
Okay. Go ahead.
right, Carmen? Right? Or I will introduce, who will introduce here? The Toastmaster
After
or?
you give the objectives and say what the project is, then you can hand it back to the Toastmaster, and the Toastmaster can do the introduction of her as in, you know, how long she's been a Toastmaster. Did you
Okay.
give her?
Yeah, I have it
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
It's
okay.
very short.
Quickly.
Okay, so,
That's
okay.
a new protocol.
Okay. So, protocol says, as a general evaluator, I will, what? Okay, as an evaluator, I will introduce the project of the speech of tonight. The speech title is 7 Baby Steps. The purpose of this project or statement is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-structured or well-researched speech on any topic. This topic is 5 to 7 minutes. This topic is the third part of the first project in the pathways. I will hand.
First level. Third project, first level.
Okay, first level. Sorry, from the first project of the first level of the.
Third.
Sorry, third part of the third project of the
First.
first level. Right. we can change it after. Yeah. Okay, and I will return back to the Toastmaster to introduce our speaker.
Carmen Anticona. She's a biologist and she is currently working in a laboratory. She has a son and living in Fairfield for almost 2 years. And the speech title is 7 Baby Steps. Let's welcome Carmen Anticona.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. Do you know that if we have $10 in our pocket with no debt, we are wealthier than 25% of Americans? I'm going to talk about financial freedom. Since I was a teenager, I was always thinking about how can I be financially independent. And this one was my main motivation to get a job, to have money to buy clothes to support myself, and also to buy a house. And I was thinking a really nice and big house. But life doesn't always go the way that you want it to be. So as soon as I start to work, I realized that the more I work, the more broke I was. A couple of weeks ago, I was just watching a YouTube video about Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey is a financial advisor. Do you know him? Okay. And he's helping thousands of Americans with financial issues and struggling with money like me. So for Dave Ramsey, there are 7 baby steps that we need to do in order to become financially independent. The first one is to have $1,000 to start an emergency fund. About 40% of American people don't have emergency funds right now. With those $1,000, we are going to save unexpected events such as medical emergency, it could be a home repair, or maybe in the middle of the night there is a hail that is coming in the windshield of your car and it's broken down, and then you have to pay it, and that happened to me last year. So the second baby step, it is pay off all your debts and credit cards using the debt snowball, which means that you have to pay first the smaller balances and then you have to pay the big ones. This is different from the one that we always hear, okay, you have to pay first the highest interest rates and then you just have to keep on going with the lowest one. But according to the American Institute in Northwest University, they say that the Dave Ramsey is better because with that momentum that you are having to pay enough one small balance, you just keep on continuing paying off more. The third baby step is the one that you have to keep from 3 to 6 months of expenses in savings. And this is really important because it's gonna save you a lot. For example, when you lost your job, or when you are having a maternity leave, or maybe when you just are having an unexpected moving. The fourth baby step is the one that says invest 15% of your whole house income in Roth IRA and in pre-tax retirement. So at this point in your life, you have to take into consideration how much money are you going to spend when you are retired. If you're going to have good holidays, long holidays, or small trips. It's better to make a plan for 1 year and even better per month, every single month. The fifth one, it is the one that you start to fund the college for your children. So keep in mind that first you take care of your retirement and then you just have to save money for children, for your children. Right now, in the US, according to the Federal Reserve, there is $1.5 trillion in student debt loans, which is the second highest after the mortgage all combined in US. So this is a very big problem right now, and the more we address it, the better we are. The sixth one, the sixth baby step, the sixth. It is the one that pay off your home early. Isn't that would be wonderful to pay off your home early and then forget about the mortgage and those headaches that sometimes gives you? Oh, that would be wonderful. And then the number 7, the last one, is to build wealth and then to give. Of course, you build wealth first and then you give the money back to the community because it's going to be the foundation for your children and for the generation that are coming. Personally, I am in the first/second baby step right now. For me, it's not longer a goal, but this have to be a way of life because now I'm taking responsibility of my financial decisions from now on. As the best-selling author called Robert Kiyosaki says, is the author from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he says that it's not about money, how much money you make, it's about how much money do you keep, and also how hard the money is working for you, and how long you are going to keep it for your future generations. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Let's find out. Peter?
I'm sorry, the time?
Yeah, did she qualify?
7th?
First we gotta do this. Remember we do the evaluations?
Okay, so here's like,
We have 2 minutes right away.
okay, so we'll evaluate the speaker.
Yeah.
Mr. Timer, does she qualify?
Yes.
Okay, so she qualifies. And do you vote now, or
Well, we only have one speech, so.
otherwise we'll vote in this moment?
No, we won't have to vote. Just one. So what you could do now is call up the general evaluator, which also happens to be the evaluator.
Now let me call our general evaluator, the very fast one.
I'm a general evaluator, so I'll call myself to evaluate Carmen. Fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, and Carmen, this is perfect perfect speech. First of all, she had a very nice introduction, and with a few words, she told us what she's going to talk about. Second thing, she had facts, she had references for almost every statement or every knowledge she gave. I don't know most of these names she mentioned, if they are real or not, but she gave references. Also, it's clear she had prepared and she had a well researched on that topic. And she had a message in the end of the speech. About clarity, her language was clear for us. Her vocal variety was good. She had very good eye contact even with the person sits in the right or in the left or with all audience. And she used gestures even when she counts or with everything. And she got our awareness all the time. I tried or I fought myself just to focus on her what do you call it? Performance rather than just focus on the content and take this, but because we're recording, so that's fine. And she was comfortable with what she's talking about. She's interested about the topic, and we all. I had one suggestion for her about the usage of the stage. This is very small, I know, but rather than just flipping or swiping right and left, you can just take step right, step left, step right, not this, but yeah, I mean moving slowly or something between each point. And I have something that maybe a challenge for you. I don't know if you will agree or not. Just forget about biology and come to the economic world. This speech is perfect. It's helpful for everyone, even for people they will watch it at home. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, it's time for table topics. I'd like to call Jean Symington Craig on the stage.
Great, thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you.
No, I'm unavailable.
You're our table topics evaluator, right? Good. Well, thank you everyone for bringing hats. Dee, do you have your hat? This is the moment. This is where we have them on, and we're rocking our hats. So this is something that we have done in the past years ago, where we have a hat night, and everybody brings a hat, and then we go from there. I'll be asking you some questions, but the hat is important. So who would like to go first on the hat? Okay. Okay.
It's an unusual hat, I know.
Yeah.
Keeps the
Tell
way out.
us a story that features this hat. Tell us a story that features this hat.
A really good story. As you know, what this hat's for is to protect your head. But it's also used as a windbreak when you're you're like this. Right? Correct. And when you're on one of these things with this hat, it makes you feel a little more secure. Because there's things up here that you want to obviously protect. Now, when I've been on one of these objects that you're going along the roads, you're going down and forth, like down hills, there are things you don't want to run into, like cars coming the other way, because you're on a road where the cars are coming. Or large immovable objects, like trees. So I'm in the Bay Area, and I'm going down this Page Mill Road. I don't know if you know the road. It's a winding road that goes from up here. I'm going down on this hill, and I'm breaking the wind with this thing that will not move, but it'll protect the things that are in here that are important. So I'm going down this hill with this thing on, and there, of course, there are bike lanes, but there are cars going up and down the road at the same time, whizzing by, going the other way. And funnily enough, another car gets in your way. What do you do? Well, you get the hell out of the way of the car is what you do. The problem is, you don't know where you're going to go when you're out of the way of the car. Because there's roads and there's berms on the road. So I'm going down this hill, this car comes up, and if I don't get out of the way of the car, well, I might not be standing here today. Literally. So I have to swerve out of the way of the car. Fortunately, you know what a giant sequoia is? Or a redwood tree?
Yep.
You've been there.
Mhm.
They are big. They're as big around as this room, actually, at the trunk. And then there's a cliff. Now the good thing about the sequoia tree is it kept me from going over the cliff. However, it's when a movable object meets an immovable object, it's where there can be problems.
Mm-hmm.
So about an hour later, I'm in the hospital in Stanford University. Fortunately, this is okay up here, but my shoulder is up by my ear. Ouch. So I have a bent shoulder, but I still have everything up here. So I guess I'm okay now.
All right, get the idea? Nets? Hat?
I'll go. Oh. Peter,
No? You want Peter up?
Yeah.
Okay. Terry's up. Terry, I would like your hat to tell us a story that relates to itself. So you're the hat.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters and those at home. My hat tells a particular story. This is known as a Panama hat. It is woven out of some sort of fiber, and you can wet it and wear it, and you can reshape it. And as a storyteller, I wear many hats, but I particularly like this hat. Today was a sunny day. It's snowing in Nova Scotia today, but here I am in the cornfields of Iowa, and I'm really quite enjoying the sun, especially after the polar vortex. And wearing a hat, be it a baseball hat, a Panama hat, I also have one that Michael Casey, my friend from Everybody's, gave me, and it's a mushroom pod or cap, and I couldn't find it in the clutter in my car because it really tells a story. And who would have thought a hat would have been made out of a mushroom cap? But it's so me. He found it on eBay, and was very hesitant about giving me the hat. But finally he said, "You're the storyteller in the community, you need the hat." So I wear it proudly. I am wearing many hats as Bonnie Gould, my old roommate, is doing a photo documentary for Carolyn Waxman's photo class. And Bonnie, in the last 3 weeks, has taken 450 pictures of every wrinkle and every little wooden finger and every bracelet. And today I was privileged enough to see what she's planning on presenting on April 22nd. It's going to be 450 pictures of the most unbelievable shots. And now she's busy cropping them and expanding them. The smallest will be black and white, 5x7, but she has them as big as 16 by 21. And I'm wearing another hat. So hats, and particularly Panama, are very important.
Okay. Another hat wearer,
There you go.
Jyoti Raj. Keep calling you Jyoti Raj.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll untrain if you want me to, so there we go.
Your
Oh yeah,
question.
my question. Okay. What story does your hat want to tell us?
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and guest viewers at home. This happened to be National Hat of Nepal. And this, you can see this hat like this part is coming up and we have this little deep here. So you describe the Nepal. So Nepal is surrounded by mountains, Himalayas. So these are the Himalayas surrounded. And this is a valley where Nepal is. Actually, if we go back 700 to 1,000 years ago, more than that, Nepal was just a valley, that valley only. And about 3-4, there were small countries those days. There was neither India nor Pakistan or nothing. It was small country, nor Afghanistan. There are small countries. About 250 years ago, 270 years ago, around 3 centuries ago, one king, he made the bigger Nepal. That's why it's a bigger. And then again, they lost some part to India. But this is all the mountains. And the original hat, if you see, it is made woven patches. Each part, a lot of parts would be there, not one whole cloth, but different parts. That is different caste, communities, races, and sexes. So to make a good hat, there should be different patterns. Likewise, to make a good country, there should be different people. That's the message of the hat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Toastmaster, how are we doing with time, by the way? Are we good? Can we do more?
So what time are?
Well, what's the time? The time is
It's the time for
8:30.
evaluation.
The time is
Minutes late
8:30.
did we start.
Yeah.
And we started late, so we haven't done as many minutes as the schedule called for. But for table topics.
Let's see.
We are at
So we could do one more if it's short, because it's till 8:33.
8:32 actually.
8:32.
Oh, you're right.
But we started
You're
10
right,
minutes
you're
late,
right.
the
We
meeting.
did start. We started quite a bit late, but,
So if it's going to come out of table topics, we're done.
yeah, we are done. Okay, so those of you that did not get your hat calls today, we will do this again. Because I'm dying to tell you the story
Yeah,
about this
next
one.
year.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be somebody else, and then,
Go
I
ahead.
can tell you the story.
Oh, we have rings or.
Yeah,
Peter,
or-
where's your hat?
Or jewelry, or necklaces, or something. All right, so with that, Mr. Timer, could you tell us who qualified?
There were 2 qualifiers and 3 speakers. Terry and Jyoti Raj qualified.
Okay. Then we can go ahead and take a little section off of here, and I'll give you a paper and we can vote. I think I will at this point call up our table topics evaluator. We had 3? Okay, so that would just be usual timing, Aaron, if that's all right with you. It's 2 to 3 minutes for an
Okay.
evaluator slot. Okay.
Thank you.
So good.
Like a massage.
No, he's solid.
Fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, we had 3 great speeches today, all about the wonderful hats that we all brought today. Dee, you started us off with your helmet. You had a really great, your story about how this helmet basically saved your life or helped you out in avoiding this oncoming car. I think your hand gestures really helped sort of, and the very descriptive language that you gave about the situation that you were in, describing the wind blowing back through your helmet, and the way that, describing in very great detail the way that the car was coming at you, and talking about the tree that you had almost collided with and almost falling off the cliff. I think it really all gave us a very strong visual on what exactly you were going through in that instance. And your gestures, I remember particularly about swerving back and forth, really sold it too. I think the only thing that I can think of is more movement, and especially sort of building up to that moment where you are almost about to crash and holy cow, this is really happening, and you know what, I think a lot more bigger, especially at that moment, would really sell it to your audience about what exactly was going on in that moment and what it really felt for you. Terry, you had a very interesting story about all these different hats and sort of the people that had given them to you, and you were very descriptive about, especially the mushroom hat. I'm trying to picture that mushroom hat. I thought it was very, very fascinating the way that you were talking about the many details about it. And your voice, I think that your voice obviously showed to us that you were very excited when you were talking about this, and just you could tell it was flooding back all these memories of the people that you associate with these hats with and all the memories. I think the only thing is maybe connecting more with individual audience members instead of sort of, I didn't get as strong a connection, maybe particular moments with different audience members that would have made it feel more individual to each of us. And then Jyoti, you close us off with a very interesting and culturally very interesting as well to most of us that don't know your culture as well, about how that hat really symbolizes, you know, your country of origin. And it was very, I thought it was very interesting about how that hat really describes your culture, and using your hat as a prop and showing, okay, these are the mountain range, and these, you know, different symbols show the different makeup of, you know, of it. It was really made us connect very well with your culture, and it was a very intriguing speech. I think the only thing that I would do to make it better is showing your hat to the individual people and maybe bringing it closer so we can get a better visual of it. That's about it. Thank you.
You're it's the general evaluator, right?
He is, yeah.
I'm not the general.
No, but you're a table topics evaluator, and so now we are at the general evaluator. Oh, we have one more evaluator. That would be me, of him. We need you to evaluate him, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you're the general evaluator. Okay, so
There's too many of
I
them.
am one more evaluator just to evaluate you, but should I wait till you've done your general? No, I won't do that.
It's up to you. But
Okay,
if
no.
you,
I'm just
I will
gonna,
call the other reports first, right?
yeah, but I'm gonna evaluate you on your evaluator role, not your general evaluator
Yeah,
role,
yeah.
your evaluator role.
Yes.
Okay, so do you wanna come up and introduce me as an evaluater?
No, first we need to call the reports.
No, but this is a speech, this is me evaluating you. Am I totally off?
Yeah. Because that's part of the general evaluator, which is after the reports.
But I'm not gonna evaluate you on your general evaluator.
No, but
No.
it's part of the general evaluator at that moment, right?
Okay, I'm
No.
suddenly having my brain going.
So maybe the hat.
Okay,
Flip the hat.
flip the hat. Okay, that's the problem.
Okay.
Oh,
There you go.
oh, well, there you go.
Better.
That is
You
so
feel
much
better?
better.
You could look
Yeah.
up higher now.
Okay, it's the bill. The bill is.
You look
all right.
like the catcher.
Okay,
You look
all
like
right.
the catcher.
So the general evaluator is coming up, right, after much ado.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, so at this moment, I will.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I know.
Ding.
Yeah, the hat is different.
Ding.
You keep this story for the next time we bring hats, okay? Keep this story. So I will call the role players and to get their reports about the meeting. I will start with timer, Mr. Peter.
In our speeches tonight, Carmen was at 7 minutes and 27 seconds, just under the wire. The evaluation speech by Hudaifa was at 3 minutes and 7 seconds, which is within bounds. Table topic speeches, D at 3:16, Terry at 2:19, Jyotiraj at 2:12. Table topics evaluator, Aaron at 3 minutes 26 seconds. And the general evaluator will not be reported.
Yeah, so this is what we have missed actually. I missed to ask you if he's qualified or not. And then if
Yes.
he's qualified, we do not vote for him because he's the only one. Anyway, so then we have Mary.
No,
There's two evaluators. You're also in the running.
You're.
All
you're
right.
that.
Yeah.
See? Go put your hat back on.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but I forget because I'm general evaluator. So if you are a manager and a vice president, so you only take the higher position.
Yeah.
So yeah, you may take 1 minute to vote for Ernst or me.
For you.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay, there we go.
Person who collects, who walks there.
Wow.
Now it's different. Everyone comes to the person who collects.
Yeah.
Okay, so now with the grammarian, Dan Craig. Show some adroit in your speech or in your reports.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. You're the only one to use the word adroit
No? Just now?
It's a good word.
just now.
Wait a second.
So thank you for saving the meeting. Here are some phrases I heard tonight that caught my ear, thought they were well done. Carmen was saying, life doesn't always go the way you want it to be. Then she said, the longer I worked, the more broke I was. One suggestion for Carmen, when you're using the word step, sometimes you say a step with an S to start it off with.
Yeah.
So you might watch that. Another nice thing you said was at the end, for me, it's no longer a goal, but it has to be a way of life. It was a good wrap up. Hudaifa, I had a suggestion for you in pronunciation, which is kind of funny. I'm a guy from West Texas, so the idea that I can tell anybody how to pronounce anything. The word her often comes out hair, so you might think about that.
Is that H-E-R, like her?
Her.
Her.
Not H-A-R.
Hair is
That's a tongue twister.
underneath hair.
Her hair.
Okay, a couple more quick things. Dee said this hat will protect the things up there that are important. Terry says that as a storyteller, I wear many hats. And Josie said, to make a good hat, there should be different patches. To make a good country, there should be many different people. This is the story of this hat. That's a paraphrase. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. Is it right in Texas if you want to speak like the Texas accent, you have to bite something like her or something like this? You have to bite something, put something in your mouth, or
That helps.
yeah.
The snuff, right, or whatever that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chewing tobacco.
Chewing tobacco,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff.
Okay. Finally, we have a counter.
I'm delighted to announce that there was not one so it was perfect. I cast my spell and it worked.
Well,
Yeah. Very short. You take you take award for this very short report. So I can say now. Do you have a joke? All this joke?
The long story.
Yes.
Toastmasters. For the theme of tonight being social media, I found some interesting phrases or quotes on social media that I thought would be interesting to share with you all. It says, on Twitter, we get excited when someone follows us. In real life, it rather scares us.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I thought this was funny. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but what happens on social media is searchable on Google forever.
That's great.
So watch what you post.
What you like, even.
Yeah. Dirty laundry belongs in the washing machine, not on Facebook.
That's
I like
right.
that one.
Yeah.
Some people are a little too open with certain matters and things that you don't think people forget to realize that everyone can read the stuff that you post. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, as well as an overblown social media post. Sir Isaac Newton will get a kick out of that.
Right.
I think social media is making people less rather than more experimental. People worry about looking good all the time. When I grew up, you could get it all horribly wrong, and it didn't matter because there was no record of it. Thank you.
Time for me to evaluate. I will evaluate Aaron, and then Jean, she will evaluate me. Aaron has a good introduction of his evaluation when he praised all the speakers together, and then he praised individually. He started with everyone with praising. He has very nice smile all the time, so I think that breaks when he want to give a suggestion or the negative points of the speaker. With this smile, it makes balance for the speaker, so he receives or she receives that note or comment. Then he good he has good usage of his gesture, even more, maybe better than the speakers themselves when he explained how he used better than them. And also he had a suggestion for everyone, and for that I will give him one suggestion, very short. He has a face contact with us, but I think he does not have an eye contact with us. So he turned his face to us, but he does not look to our eyes. So maybe he needs that point. Yeah, exactly. Or you may have a sunglass and then you can draw eyes here, and that's fine. And that's all for tonight. Thank you very much. I will call Jean to evaluate me. And this is the last minute of the authority here. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Oh.
By the way, that eye contact part is really something, it takes a little bit of practice, quite a bit, and particularly if you are either have some shyness or just you have a tendency to fall into people's souls when you look in their eyes, which was the way I felt. I'd look in people's eyes, I'd forget what I was saying because I was just... So you have to go, okay, I can do that, and I can still walk. I can walk and talk at the same time. So that was a big win for me, was to be able to get that eye contact stuff going without losing it. Okay. So if I can do it, you can do it. All right. By the way, here.
Oh, that's
For you.
nice.
No, I'm sorry, my bad. Hudaifa. Hudaifa is an adroit evaluator. He does have skill in this area, and he's gotten the mechanics down. He gave good points right at the beginning, and he was specific. He talked about the opening, it was succinct, it was concise, and he liked it. He talked about plenty of facts, which is, of course, it's a research project, so he mentioned the facts. He also mentioned that she's very good with gestures. And that's how you say that word. I'm just going to say it's like jest, like a joke, gestures. The G throws you off, for sure. He also had humor. He said, I really had to focus to try to pay attention to how she was doing it as opposed to just getting caught up in the content, which I think we all were, feeling like, okay, what's the next step, what's the next step? And he also said that she ought to switch over from this biology business, which is making her broke, and focus on economics, which was, again, humor and tailored to the situation. It wasn't just humor, it was tailored to the situation. He gave suggestions. He gave the suggestions particularly about the stage use. Of course, we're getting used to this space, but we designed it so that we could have room up here and to be able to move around. So we're not glued to the lectern. You don't want to be randomly moving, but he gave you some ideas. Maybe you could do some of the baby steps here, and some of the baby steps here, and some of the baby steps here, and then step forward, whatever. But he mentioned usage of stage. My suggestion to Hudaifa would be zeroing in on the facts. So whenever there's research that's involved, your research and your facts, whatever you're saying, it's going to be more credible. And I'm saying this to him as something he could have pointed out to Carmen, if there are exact details given. So for example, she mentioned the Federal Reserve figure from, well, she could have said, according to the Federal Reserve in the November 18th report on the 2017 US savings rate, adults only 25% of people, if you have $10 or more and no debt, you're head of a bunch of people. Are you timing me, Peter?
Are you timing?
Not really, no, because there were too many general evaluators.
Yeah, so he got caught up in all the evaluators going.
In other words,
All right, but I think I'm not done yet. I think I'm good. I've got it in my DNA. So that would be the thing, that if you're evaluating someone who's trying to give research and facts, is it to have them specify who the expert is that they're quoting, or what is the survey that they are referring to, or the, the database that was used. Because that makes it look really like, yeah, this was really researched. Okay. And that would be my report.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, now it's time for awards. The first award is for Best Speaker. Here.
Right here.
Oh,
So we're refining our setup, so we need these up at the front for the Toastmaster. Good. Good,
and
they're
the
out.
Best Speaker award goes to Carmen and Cohen. And the best evaluator is Carol. Congratulations. Oh, sorry.
Yay.
And the best table topic is now I'd like to call Jean Symington Craig for her closing comments.
Thank you. Before we head off on the business, we do want to congratulate Carmen. Carmen has just completed, am I correct, the first level of her path. 1 level down, 4 to go. That's really huge. So that's good. Now you're going to want to, yes?
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Because this was a double play.
Yep.
Okay, good. So there we go. Really great. Now you guys are gonna have to put in, there's a process that you do to send your project in to have the VPE or the president or the secretary approve it. And then that lets you go on to the next level. So go ahead and figure that out. And Peter, you and I I'm sort of thinking maybe I can work with it, but it's like someone has to say, yep, I approve it, it was done, and then they go on. Okay, so, but that's really awesome, really good. What else? Next week, okay, really, do you like my hat this way or the other way around?
You need a catcher's
I'm
mask.
seriously,
For
I'm
the
not a hat
TV,
person.
you should keep it back the way it is, because otherwise your eyes will be in poor light.
Oh,
Not
okay.
well lit.
This is more like millennial, and the other
Right.
way was more, old school kind of.
Right, right.
There's just a shadow over your eyes for
Shadows
the
over
video
the eyes.
camera.
Okay, so you turn yours around, I want to see the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it,
Yeah.
I get it. All right,
And you're a catcher also.
yeah, I'm a catcher too, yeah.
You catch things.
Gear, yeah.
You catch us.
I get it,
Yeah.
I do catch you, yeah.
Yeah, you catch my grip.
Ooh, it's getting deep. Next week, we have, as I mentioned in the email, we have that class coming. It's probably 6 people, 6 or 7 people. So we do want to be on deck for that. We did get started 10 minutes late
Where are they
today.
coming from?
So they're coming from the university.
NYU.
It's a communications,
Oh,
business communications class. And Professor Jane Schmidt-Wilk she loves bringing her class to this once a year. She builds a whole exercise around it. We'll probably want to be doing some extra table topics.
Do we have enough,
There's,
do we need to
what
get
now?
more chairs and stuff in this room? Or no,
Dee, so why don't you, just so we, so,
yeah,
you
no,
want,
later.
you're asking a question?
yeah, about
Okay, chairs?
having places for people to sit and.
Yeah, we're gonna have some rows back there. We've been
We can move
pacing
this
it
table
out.
down maybe.
Yeah, I've already told them that,
Okay.
that not to eat too much this week, so that everybody fits in the room.
Okay.
Okay.
That
Goes
applies
for
to
us too.
also.
Yeah, we gotta walk our talk on that. Now Terry, I understand it would be nice to have a speech.
I'm doing well.
And now, do you think you can figure that all out with the pathways? Because it needs to be a pathways speech.
Yes, I'll have to go online and figure that out.
Okay.
Who's the education? Maybe we should coordinate something?
Okay.
I don't have a phone number.
We need to coordinate it very soon,
Okay.
because I'm leaving town tomorrow
When are you leaving?
afternoon.
Tomorrow?
Correct, tomorrow afternoon.
And so could you email me or phone me, please?
Yeah.
Do you have my phone number?
We'll trade phone numbers at the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
And also, Terry, when you go to Toastmasters.org,
Mhm.
and you can log in because you've got your
I don't know.
email.
I don't know the password.
No, you just go in and try to log in with your email address. Okay, but the main thing is up in the corner, up on the top, there's a tab, it says Pathways. That is where the yellow brick road starts. And then you just follow the yellow brick road. It's designed to be self-driving, and just look at everything as you go. There's choosing your path, one of the big tile, everyone knows this, right? Choosing your path, and then is the one tile, and that's what you're gonna wanna do, and then the middle tile is gonna be how you access your path, and on the right is the navigator section, and that tells you how to move around, and like what do you do, and what's happening, and how do I find stuff. And I do recommend touching base with Toastmasters. It'll be a short call, they can get you going and get you started, because Peter's leaving.
Who's the person you asked to speak to?
You say, I'm calling with questions about pathways,
Okay.
and they'll just get you going.
See, I have all the manuals that
Yeah.
I've used for years, but
I know, but
I don't have them.
you are young thinking, and you want to get on the next,
Yeah.
you want to get on the new wave. Okay.
Unless you're almost all the way through something.
Well, she doesn't have her manuals here.
no, they're back in Nova Scotia.
Yeah. But anyway, so she'll understand more about that. So, Peter, you going to be doing the agenda for next week, even though you're out of
I'll
town?
do an agenda, yeah.
Okay. If you could let, Terry, I just need to make sure if you're running into any kind of, hiccuping at all, because I could move my speech from the 23rd back, or ahead to next week, but I need a little bit of
We can
advance.
discuss this
time.
after the meeting, yeah.
Yeah. I just want to have
Let's-
something good for the club, for the
Let's
class.
talk about it after.
Okay. We're all going to be cleaning up as well. Is there anything else that we need from for our business? We liking this room so far? But right now, we feel comfortable we have room for 20 here. And when you look at the Toastmasters, when you look at the Pathways videos and stuff, almost all of them are around a conference table. It's kind of interesting. I don't know whether that's the new look, but. So anyway, we'll see you next week. And thank you for coming, and keep your hat, and we'll do it again. All right.